So today we are focusing on, are you a bad leader, right? Normally we are hearing about good leadership, but today I'm focusing on, are you a bad leader? How many of you want to become a bad leader, right? No one, isn't it? That's why we are here today. No one wants to become a bad leader, right? Let's see how this topic may help you, inshallah. The idea is to help you assess leadership risk and eliminate them to become a great leader, right? Normally, people used to talk about positive way to present something. If I put the title as How to Become a Great Leader, it's a positive title. But if I show you how not to become a bad leader, then it is a negative approach, isn't it? So I believe some of you would prefer this approach, while others are not. We have some objectives or questions to be answered in this presentation. What is leadership? Why is it important to know bad leadership? Who is a bad leader? How to become a great leader? So these are the questions I would like to discuss today, right? So this presentation is based on one of my books. Are you a bad leader? Are you a bad leader? Right? This is a book. It is available in Amazon and in my website. I'll show you at the end of the presentation where you can have this book, inshallah. Okay. So I will use this opportunity to present some idea about this concept. Basically, this book is based on 15 indicators to understand or to see a leader in from followers' point of view, from team members' perspective, right? So it will give a comprehensive idea about to make yourself as a great leader, inshallah. Right. In reality, there are leaders. There are leaders everywhere, isn't it? All the people wants to become leaders. If you say somebody you don't have leadership skills, people sometimes will become upset, right? So it is some kind of favorable label across around the world. Leadership. This graph shows you there are 60% of the leaders are contributors. They are leaders. But unfortunately, around 35% of those leaders are bad leaders. I believe more than this. So I can say this is there have been very bad leaders, but you may find bad leaders more than this, definitely. Then there is a 10% of those leaders population. You can see them as good leaders, right? Okay. Um, in terms of good leaders, still we can categorize them into two groups, right? These 60%, as I said, they are leaders. That means they are not bad. Okay, we assume that they are not bad, they are leading. So who are those leaders? They consistently perform. Leaders, normally, we expect them what? Consistently perform well, follows standard process, meet the expectation of that role. These are the normal leaders. We call them contributors. Right? In terms of a good leader, that is 10%. In terms of 10%, we have two categories. Okay, I call them outstanding leaders, one group. The second one is game changers. Game changers, right? So who are those outstanding leaders? They go beyond expectations. They do more than what we expect from them. Demonstrates initiatives. They come up with new ideas and initiatives. It's noticeable improvements to the organization. So these are outstanding leaders. So you may find rare people in this category, isn't it? Okay. Then game changers. Who are those people? Now, when I explain who are the game changers, some people might come to your mind. some leaders in the global level or local level in your country, your organizations, right? So who are the game changers? They drive significant transformations. That they bring transformations. They bring the organization from a normal level to extraordinary level. I mean, nobody might think about that kind of change, but these people will bring those changes in the organization and the direction it works, right? So significant transformations. They introduces innovative ideas and plays crucial role uh, in the perspective of growth and success of the organization or community. Those who bring, transformation. That means they bring the organization from the normal level to a different level, so that will jump from one place to another level. They become more powerful, energetic, and people of the organization will become more energetic and enthusiastic because of that leadership. The game changes. Right. What is leadership? Is all of you aware the definition? You may have a different definition, but I will show you one simple one, because this definition, I have used this definition to develop this all the overall concept of this "are you a bad leader" idea. Leadership, the ability to move people towards a goal. The ability to move people towards a goal. So the leader is the one who has the ability to move others towards a goal. A goal might be a common goal or a personal goal or shared goal, whatever. If a person has the ability to move others, people are following him and perform according to that leader. That means he has playing a leadership role. Okay. So this leadership role could happen at different level, maybe one to one. For example, if you are influencing someone, an individual, to achieve something, that means you are leading that person, right? If you are leading your family, your wife and children, if you are leading your friends towards something to achieve, maybe a short term, medium term, long term, that means you are leading them. If you're part of an organization, right, you are leading them. For example, somebody has organized this program, right, around 25 participants available here to participate. So you are following their invitation and you are here. In this context, you are led by them. Okay, that means leading people towards a short term or medium term or long term goal is leadership. Okay, so I hope it is clear, right? How did you become a leader? Okay. So if you are playing a leadership role currently, my question is, are you appointed by others or you wanted it or you didn't want, but somehow you are playing a leadership role? What happened to you? I'm appointed by others. I wanted to lead, to lead, or I don't know about me myself, anything, right? What is the kind of situation about yourself? Just assess yourself, okay? The next question is, I think for majority of the participants, why do you want to become a leader? Why do you want to become a leader? Right. Because you know that being an ordinary person is easy than to play a leadership role. If you become a leader, it is an amana. Say, for example, you are leading 5 people, you are responsible for those 5 people whenever you lead them, isn't it? That means you are bearing their decisions and their actions on your shoulder. So it is a serious assignment to play a leadership role. That's why always we have to make sure that why I want to become leader. Even if you became a leader, you have to ask every day this question, like a muhasaba, why I am leading, why I am holding this role, right? And always you have to make sure that you are on the right direction and with a good intention. Because each and every second you spend with the good intention will add rewards to your mizan. That is the blessing part of being a leader. If not, opposite, Well applicable. Okay. Let's discuss about now why bad leadership. Why it is important to know about bad leadership. Because bad leadership will create some negative consequences. So if you fail to know, if you fail to understand what is this, then you will be affected by it, by those consequences. Not only you, including your organizations, people around you, and community at large. Wherever you are playing leadership role will be affected by that. For example, I will show you some of the consequences. Stagnation in personal growth. If you are affected by bad leadership, viral, right? I have to say virus, then like corona, then it will stagnate. It will hold you. It will stop you from growth. That means a comprehensive, meaningful growth. Sometimes you will grow. Same like some people become, they grow, but internally their health is very weak, right? Same like people will be become popular, but internally they are weak. Eventually they will fail if they are infected by bad leadership virus. Okay, so stagnation in personal growth. It will create some kind of blockade in your person. Misguiding teams and failing to achieve goals. So if you are a bad leader, or if you are partially a bad leader, teams will be misled by you, right? People will sometimes do, team members will sometimes perform something on bad direction so that they will end up with, um, they will fail to achieve the goals. You know that um, leadership always will create the action plan. People work based on leadership, isn't it? So people normally, in terms of voluntary organization, you all are into voluntary organization. The people spend, members spend their time and wealth voluntarily, right? So each and every minute they spend with you is amana. They not only time, they spend their resources, their skills and knowledge, whatever they have, to contribute to the cause. So if you lead them badly, what will happen? So they will put all their efforts and potentials towards something, towards a bad result, poor result, not the right goals you expect. There is a misguidance eventually will happen because of the bad news. Then the third one, damaging trust and relationship in your organization and community. Eventually you will lose your image in front of your members and the beneficiaries, those who are led by you or benefited from you, so they will have bad impression about you because you play a bad leadership role. So when I am explaining about bad leadership, you must have some idea, but you may think what kind of qualities will define somebody as a bad leader, right? Okay, I will discuss them quickly. Right. So now, um, you are at the center. Okay. Here we have a bad leader, and here we have a great leader. Now, the first question normally comes to your mind: how do I know that am I a bad leader or great leader? What are the indicators? If I am among one of those bad leaders, how to become great leaders? Right? There is a question we should have. Okay. So I will show you three indicators. Uh, these indicators largely will help us to understand our current situation. The three perspectives about the bad leaders. So if someone has these indicators, they will be known for their bad leadership. Among whom? Their followers, their members. Because the book I show you at the beginning, This book has been written a bad leadership in the perspective of their followers, their team members. How a follower or a team member will um, identify their leader as a bad one. So the whole discussion is moving around the perspective of the followers. Okay, right. The first indicator is about blurred vision. Blurred vision. We will discuss them. And absence of skills, deficient values. These are some of the serious issues that could make somebody bad leader in front of their people, their followers, their team members. Okay. So I will quickly go through briefly about these three indicators. So you'll have a better idea. You can assess yourself against them quickly, right? Personally, you can assess them. Blurred vision. What is this? This is not about using specs, okay? It is about the vision of the organization, vision of the community, right? The leader lacks clarity and focus. So he is at the leadership position or she is at the leadership position, but they don't know about the future status of the organization, what we ultimately want to achieve, right? If he or she doesn't have clear idea about that, what will happen? Think. Let's have an example. Say you are traveling in a bus as a tour. Your friends are get together and book a bus, and you are traveling. And there's a driver. Okay, the driver is leading the bus now because he has all the facilities and authority to lead because he is at the driving seat now. Okay, if the driver doesn't have clear idea about what all of you have to go, where you want to go, what would happen? The driver will drive. Okay, he will drive whatever he thinks right. Or if you have given, if you don't given a clear idea about the destination, about your tour, your journey, the driver will drive. Sometimes he will drive very fast. Okay, you will enjoy it. But because of that blurred vision, lack of clarity, you may not reach the destination. Sometimes, if that person drive opposite direction, you'll never reach your destination, isn't it? So having a person with blurred vision, lack of clarity about the goal and focus, then the followers eventually will recognize the driver, that leader as a bad leader. They will say him, they will say towards him or her, this person is wasting our resources, misguiding us. We have to throw this person away from our organization. Now, eventually that mindset will build up among the followers. Okay, so blurred vision is very dangerous. So if you have an opportunity to, if you are given an opportunity to lead others, any level, small or big, always you have to make sure that you got the right idea about the vision or goals of the organization or the team. You can spend a long time to discuss and understand if you are not clear. It's very important to have the right idea. Okay. So lacks of clarity and focus will cause what? Fails to set a clear direction. Then leave the team confused and unmotivated, as I explained now, and deter their team from the purpose. That means the team members might have better idea about the vision, the purpose, but because of the this poor leader or bad leader, others also will be misguided and they will be blocked from moving forward. Right? So who is a bad leader? If you fail to set clear goals and share them with your team, they will label you a bad leader. Similar to a driver, right? Driver has a very good bus and he has very good experience and skills to drive. He's very funny guy, very interesting guy, but because of lack of clarity about the direction or destination, people will start to call him bad driver or blame him, right? The same thing will happen in your organization as well. You may have got a lot of qualifications, popularity, but if you are not clear about the vision or goals, you will be a bad leader in front of your people. Okay, absence of skills. What is this? I told you about the leadership. What is leadership? The ability to move people towards a goal. So, ability. What is that ability? Ability is about skills, how to lead others, right? So, bad leaders, they lack the essential skills to lead effectively. So, say somebody has a better clarity about the vision or goals of the organization or the community, right? Because of lacking in certain skills, essential skills, they will labeled as they will be labeled as a bad leader by their people. It will happen eventually. So there are many skills, there are many leadership skills, but here I want to focus three of them. Is a very important, crucial, I call essential skills. One of them is decision making. Then we have delegation. Then communication. Right? Okay. What is decision making? How a leader become bad leader in terms of decision making? We need to make a decision to move forward, isn't it? If you don't make a decision, you will be stuck on the same place, right? There will be certain situations without right decisions, you will spend a whole resource of your organization. People will be not clear what to do next. Okay, so making decision is very important. People who make fast decisions are appreciated by people, others, and those leaders they make decision fast and they make right decision. Meanwhile, they become more successful in terms of their leadership. Other way around will become um, bad leadership. Okay, so how to make decisions as a leader? If you have a team, or we call them central council or shura council or whatever, or team, then first as a leader you need to define the problem clearly. In what aspects we need to make a decisions, right? Problem in the sense in research we call problem statement, isn't it? Same like that. So what cause we may make force us to make a decision to go forward? Define that clearly. So all the people in the team must have the same idea about the problem. All of them are in the same page. That is number one. Okay. Then you need to gather relevant information about this that problem. You can discuss through a brainstorming or something. You can get more information about the problem and what is the root causes, everything, so that all the team members will be at the same page, right? Then you have to evaluate alternatives. Now, okay, you may come up with three options or four options uh, towards the problem. Then that we call alternatives. So if you have three options, you have to evaluate them, which is the best one. For evaluation purpose, you have to come up with some criteria, right? For example, say you have three options, you have to develop some criteria one, two, three. With respect to this criteria, which option gets the best score? That will be the best decision for that problem. Then you will make the decision. Okay. So this is a simple process to make decision as a leader. Sometimes you need to make a decision as an individual, depending on the situation. For example, in a crisis situation, sometimes you are responsible to take immediate decision. By that time, yes, you don't have much time to go through all these processes, right? That is we call extraordinary situation. But in normal situation, always you have to follow this Shura method. So when you consult people to get information, always we have to consult subject matter experts. Say, for example, you have a problem, your team members are not much aware about the subject. Then making a decision through from those members will not be the right decision. For this purpose, you need to bring some experts on that subject, and we can ask some questions. They can explain about everything. Then the team members will learn the problem exactly. Then they can discuss about the various alternatives and come up with the decision. You get the point? So, being a leadership team, okay, it is not necessarily you are obliged to make decisions by yourself. If you are not aware about the subject, you need to consult subject matter experts. It is very important. Otherwise it is an aman. You will end up with low quality decisions, and you may choose poor option to go forward. It is not your responsibility to make poor option. Then you will become a bad leader, right? So there are sometimes as a bad leader you may make some mistakes. For example, right? Three mistakes just I will highlight now. Ignoring long-term impact. So whenever you are making a decision, always you need to, for example, you make decision for short-term or medium-term purpose. Same time, you need to consider what kind of impact this decision might create in long term. The organization or the beneficiaries or the people, community at large, we must have that idea in our mind while we make any decision, right? Another mistake is relying too much on personal bias. A leader, if he or she thinks that, okay, I'm the leader, I can make this decision, and any decision should not hurt me or should not disturb my priorities. If you think like that, again, you are slowly moving to become a bad leader. Okay, so you must be very careful when you take decisions uh, without relying too much on personal bias. In this case, not only personal in terms, it is not only about yourself. Maybe you might bias one of the team members, some kind of favoritism because of the closeness to you or some kind of motivations behind them. In this case, you must be very careful because it is one of the mistakes most of the leaders they do while they make decisions. Delaying decisions due to fear of failure. So another mistakes people or leaders make when they make decisions. Okay? Right. Then the next one is delegation. What is delegation? It is the process of assigning responsibilities and authorities to others while maintaining accountability for the outcome. That is delegation. So once you make the decision, you need to implement that, isn't it? For this purpose, you need to choose the right person to implement or right team to implement the decision. While you are making this decision of delegation, must be very careful here. There are three keywords: responsibilities and authorities, and here accountability. Then you need to assign when you delegate, you will assign a responsibility, isn't it? Same time, you have to give them the authority to make decision at their level. If you fail to give the authority, it is not delegation. It is just like a routine work. It is like a job. But to implement certain things, if you say we are delegating, then it should goes both together, responsibility and authority. Because delegation is one of the key skills of uh, great leaders. Great leaders always implement projects through delegation. So delegation is very important in terms of leadership. If you fail to delegate in what, you will become a bad leader. And if you are delegating, you have to follow the process, right? So first identify the task to delegate. You need to understand, okay, what to delegate, what not to delegate, right? Then select the right person is very important. If you select wrong person to the identified task, then again you will become a bad leader. Then provide clear instruction. So you know the task, you've selected the right person, but you give poor instruction. Your instruction is not clear, then you'll become a bad leader eventually. Then offer support and resources. So you instructed, but you fail to support them. You fail to provide the required resources, then you will be labeled as a bad leader. And trust and empower. So once you delegate people, you should trust them. You should not do micromanagement, right? If you find they are not performing well because of some reason, you have to empower them through motivation and resources support. If you fail to do that, you will be labeled as bad leader. Okay? So that is the consequence of these things. Again, three mistakes that make a person bad leader. So if you delegate wrong person or fail to delegate right person, your team will call you a bad leader, right? One of the mistakes, micromanaging instead of trusting. If you do not trust after delegation, start to micromanage. What do you mean by micromanagement? What is that? You are behind that person, you are asking each and every steps what you are doing, where do you go, what is the results, morning, afternoon, evening, always. If you are behind them after delegation, then it is not delegation. That person will think that you are not trusting that person. Okay. By the way, in terms of delegation, it is a big subject. Maybe we'll discuss in another session, inshallah. But at overall level, once you selected the right person to be delegated, then you should trust them. You should not do micromanagement. Failing to clarify expectation. If you fail to clarify what you expect from them clearly, then you cannot expect them to perform what you want. Not considering capability. So this is the place we talk about the right person. If you fail to consider when you select a person, for example, you select someone who is that means enthusiastic, willing to take responsibility. Because of that, you forget to consider their skills, knowledge, and expectation, their capability, experience. Okay, then it will lead to wrong delegation. Eventually, you'll become a bad leader. Is it clear? Okay. Then the third skills. So we are talking about absence of skills, isn't it? That is one of the indicator of bad leadership. We discussed two skills. Number one, decision making. Number two, what? Delegation. Number three, communication. I believe all of you are familiar about this subject. Very popular, effective communication, everything. What is that? This is the process of exchanging a message between two or more parties, considering its objective, content, and implications. What is that? So when you communicate something, you have a clear idea about what you want to communicate. What is that? An objective and the content to be communicated. And after communication, what we expect from them, implications. It is in your mind. It should be in your mind before communication. Okay. So after communication, these three should be conveyed or exchanged to the receivers. The objective, content, implication as it was in your mind. Then we call that process effective communication. So it is very important. If you fail to do this, then you will be labeled as a bad leader. So how to communicate? What are the things we should focus on communication, right? So active listening should be there while communication. For example, if you communicate to somebody, that person may come up with some questions or answers or something. Then you have to listen them actively and you have to reply them. That will improve the communication, effectiveness of the communication. And be clear and concise. When you prepare to communicate something to your delegate or your friends or somebody, first you must be very clear about what to talk, what to write, what is the content, right? You must be very clear about. Think about somebody else, communicate with you, how you expect from them. Same way you have to provide to others when you communicate. Be clear and concise. What do you mean by concise? You should not go around the bush. Okay, you should not talk, hours and hours or write pages, big emails. Make it concise. Use the keywords that familiar to the receiver so that they will get the message as you intend. Utilize nonverbal communication. So while you are communicating, you have to use nonverbal mean what? The body language, right? Whatever suitable at that context, you have to use. It's not only talking or writing. Hmm? Then provide constructive feedback. So while we communicate, the audience may raise some questions to get the clarity about the subject you communicated. Then we have to provide them constructive feedback to make them clear about the subject you want to go. Again, this is another big subject, need long time to discuss and practice. It is better to have in-person programs to deal the subjects, right? Ineffective communication will lead your team to call you a bad leader, right? So this is how people become bad, isn't it? Right? First, we talk about what? The vision. Now we are talking about the skills. So what are the three mistakes in terms of communication? Lack of active listening, assuming understanding. That means we talk and we assume that they understood without getting feedback or just assuming understanding is a mistake. Conflicting messages. That means you communicate something and after a few minutes you call that person to give another message. Again, after some another message, if there is a conflict between them, the receiver will be confused and eventually you will be labeled as a bad leader, right? The next indicator, deficient values. Deficient values. Here I have shown you a diagram. That is, it is about nutrition. It is similar to nutrition, right? You eat a lot of things, but if those food doesn't give you required essential nutrients, or if you are lacking in nutrition, you will be not a healthy person. Same like that. If you are poor in terms of values, then your leadership will become poor. Basically, not only for leadership, even for a ordinary person, good person and bad person, the basic criteria that differentiate a good person from bad person is values. Okay, values. Values very important. So when it become leaders, it will become very important. Okay, so if somebody do not have certain values, simply people will call them as bad leaders. No one can stop from that claim. So here we will focus on, there are many values, you know that. I will focus on three of them. I believe these are very important. Improve yourself as a good leader, inshallah. Okay. Um, so in terms of bad leaders, their actions are guided by, so I'm talking about bad leaders now, okay? Who are the great leaders opposite to this? You know that. The deficient values. Bad leaders' actions are guided by lack of adherence to moral principles. So there are certain principles accepted by everyone, regardless of any geography, any religion, any background. Okay, people have that understanding about certain moral principles. If someone lacking in those principles, he will become a bad leader. So what is this? Lack of adherence to moral principle is we call in one word integrity, right? Integrity. There is dishonesty, corruption, okay, this kind of things. What do you mean by integrity? Who knows? Who can type a good answer for this question? What is integrity? It is a, it is the, I think, one of the top value all of us should have. What is integrity? integrity. Integrity mean if somebody put effort to make right decision and do everything right, even there is no one observing them. Okay, he is alone, but he sincerely, honestly put serious effort to make the right decision and put right action. That person has integrity, but he is not doing anything for others. He is sincere about the work, responsibility he is given. That is a person with integrity. So a leader must have this value. So trustworthiness is okay, part of it, right? So in Arabic we call, I think, ihsan, isn't it? Ihsan. When we talk about ibadah, we know that we have to perform our salah uh, with the mind set that Allah is observing us while we are praying. So it is ihsan. There is an explanation, isn't it? It is more than taqwa, I believe. Okay. Um, so here the value integrity is like, so I think it is very clear. So wherever, whenever you are doing something, if you put serious effort to make sure to make the right decision and right action, that you are driven by this value. But if you are a person, become lazy when you are alone, always try to escape from responsibilities when you are alone. Okay, if you, excuses when you are alone, that means you are lacking in this value. In this situation, you should not hold a leadership role. You will become a bad leader in front of not only your people, even in front of Allah. First, you should focus on developing that value. Then you can go for it. So another value is okay. That is number one criteria or indicator to make somebody bad leader. Another one is lack of concern for team members' feelings and situations. If a leader doesn't care about their followers, their feelings, their conditions, then that leader is basically labeled as a bad leader. So, what is the right word to indicate this? So, having compassion, right, is very important. We should feel, we should share the feelings of our members. If you don't feel that, their situations, if you don't care about them, so you become a bad leader, right? People will see you as a cruel person, careless person, right? They'll think you ignore them, you don't respect, or you don't recognize their feelings. So that is very bad situation for a leader. Okay? Then a third point is lack of regard or appreciation for the team members. It's about respecting. That means we need to respect everyone. We call it human dignity, right? So regardless of their background, their nationality, their qualifications, their membership level, we have to respect our members and others as a human, right? If you fail to do that, then people will label you as a bad leader. Human dignity, yes, very good. So these are some of the indicators of bad leaders. So we want not to call you as a bad leader, we need to improve them positively. Okay. And then I will share with you some tips, to position yourself as a great leader. So we have to stop certain things when you talk with your people, with your followers, and you have to start something instead of those things, right? For example, that's not my job. If some responsibility comes to you, you say it is not my job, you take care or go to somebody else. What will happen? Hmm? You are wrong. When somebody in your team member suggests something or comes up with a solution or idea, you say, their face, you're wrong. Okay? What would happen? And if somebody comes to you for their work or some other things to talk or share their ideas or to get some advice, you say, I'm too busy, right? Just saying. So these are some sayings, okay? You should have done it. Yeah, Brother Osman, you have a point here. Please share with us. Or you can share after I explain everything, inshallah. Okay? So these are some saying from a bad leader, right? Uh, you should have done it. You should have written this. You should have said this, right? I don't understand. If somebody explain you, it is not clear, then you say, I don't understand. Rather than saying like this, if we can replace this same saying in a different way, then you transform yourself from bad to good, bad to great. That's what I would like to share with you. For example, that's not my job. How you can say this in a different way? Hmm? How you can say, let me find right person to help. Okay, let's discuss with so and so that he will help you to find right person to do this job. So rather than saying this is not my job, okay, you are helping them. It is like a shift. Shows initiative and willingness to support your followers and others. Focus on solutions. That means you try to give a solution to them rather than ignoring them. Okay, so simple saying, might make you as a bad leader in front of your people. So not only for you, even for me, right? Sometimes, if you are busy and if you are in a difficult situation, sometimes you may say like this. Then that's why we need to minimize number of or the frequency of saying these kind of statements. Okay, then you are wrong. Rather than saying you are wrong, you can say I see it differently. You have an opinion, you have a approach, perspective. Rather than saying you are wrong, as a good leader, great leader, you can say, very good, but I have a different perspective. We can discuss, right? That's when you accommodate them. So promote constructive dialogue between you and them. So accepting different opinion from others. Encourage open discussion. This will boost what? The unity among the team, organizations, team spirit, isn't it? But if you say you are wrong, then next day that person will not open their mouth, share their opinion. So that will be a start to degenerate of your organization. Sort of story. Yeah. So rather than saying I'm too busy, I can help you at later time, or I can help you in a different way. You can tell them, right? So that will create what? That means they will understand that you are valuing them. You understand their needs. Okay, and also they will understand that you are unable to help them because you are currently busy because of certain priorities. That is very important. So you should have done it rather than we can say next time let's try like this. Okay? That you assign you delegated a role to one of your team member and he failed it or she didn't do that properly. Then if you approach them in this way, you should have done it. You should have talked to that person. You should have informed it earlier, rather than you can say, okay, next time, please come to me. Next time, discuss with this person. Next time, try this in different way. What will happen? What would happen because of this kind of approach? Hmm? That means we provide them an improvement mindset. Because if you blame them, it creates a toxic culture, right? Because that person will do the same to their subordinate, other colleagues. Okay. And if you are a parent, if you approach your children in this way, the elder one will approach the younger one same way. So that creates a toxic environment within a place, maybe family or company, whatever. All right, last one. I don't understand. So rather than you can say, could you please explain it again? Because bad leaders, they hesitate to ask questions because they always, I mean, bad mean in terms of if somebody arrogant, they don't want to ask question. They just say, or they just believe they know everything. Okay. So if they don't understand something, they'll say, I don't understand. But if you want to become a great leader, you approach the same context in different way. Could you please explain it again? So what is the consequence? It show the commitments of your leadership. Your followers will think this leader is seriously committed, to lead us. That will create a very friendly culture within your organization. So these are the simple steps that will help us to transform ourselves from bad leadership to great leadership. Okay, right. We are the last few slides. I will give you some idea about, in a comprehensive manner, how to become a great leader. Okay, so far we have discussed three indicators. What are those things? Blood vision, absence of abilities. Then third one, what is that? Values. Okay. Let's see what are the major indications of a bad leader. He doesn't aware about his people. That is number one. Leader is leading home his people, his team. If he or she doesn't aware about his people in terms of every aspects, okay, who are the people following me, who are the people with me, then you are becoming a bad leader. No one can stop you from that label. Okay. The lack of clarity. He lacks clarity in vision and goals of the organization or the community or whatever you are working leading. Then, as we discussed earlier, eventually, immediately, sometime, he will be labeled as a bad leader. Right? He doesn't know how to move people. What is that? Moving mean what? He doesn't know how to get the work done from people. That means people will see him as a bad leader. He doesn't have ability to lead. The skills we discussed, I discussed three key skills. If you are poor in those skills, decision making, delegation, and communication, then there is the sufficient, content of ingredient of the bad leadership. Then the last one, he doesn't adhere to the values, right? The values we discussed, and there are many. So these are the indication of bad leadership. How we can transform ourselves to become a great leader. Okay, again we have. I will just show you 15 indicators, right? So in terms of understanding people, you need to understand the personalities of your people, right? Now there are people are unique in terms of every aspects. If you fail to understand them, you will not be able to work with them. Then their potential, you need to understand their potential. Then you need to understand their readiness level, how much they are ready in our organization to work forward. So these are the basic aspects of understanding people. Then in terms of clarity of vision or goal of the organization might have a broader vision and mission, but in terms of priority wise, what is the goal for this year, next 5 years? What are the objectives for this project? As a leader, you must be very clear about them and plan. So, what is the plan? How to achieve those goals? And risk. What are the potential risk in terms of moving forward towards goal or implementing the plan? These three items are very important to make yourself a great leader. If you fail one of them, will make you as a bad leader. Right. In terms of moving people, how to build a team, a powerful team, how to work as a team, and how to lead your team. That is leadership styles. You cannot lead always by using same way. You have to change your styles according to context, the situation, individuals. So you need to understand them as well. In terms of skills, we discussed them: decision making, communication, and delegation. Okay, having a better idea and improving the skills. That will create that will improve your leadership. Then integrity, respect, and compassion. So these are some of the values we discussed. So we have, you see, minimum 15 indicators. So what happened? Um, you might be excellent in certain area. In some other areas, you might be poor, right? So you will be labeled as bad leader because of those poor indications. Normally, human psychology, people fail to see the good side. Always we see the bad side. That is a human weakness, right? So sometimes we cannot stop, from people from this kind of natural, perceptions. So we have to make sure that we are focus on these criteria and we put sufficient effort to improve ourselves. Okay. So when you improve yourself, eventually you will become a better leader, inshallah.